Hey Pete, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's your company name?
My company name is called Leak Tracker.
Okay, so we're here at a condominium today, and we have a fire line issue. We've got a little leak, and we're trying to find it. And explain to me now, basically, the theory that you do pretty much on every call, how you would isolate the leak.
Well, all leaks, all subsurface or slab leaks basically work in the same principle. What you try to do is first identify whether or not the leak is underground, and then once you do start the actual leak process, you apply back pressure from the furthest point away from the feed of the water supply coming into the building. So for instance, if the water was coming in from the east, we would try to set up nitrogen or compressed air on the west side of that pipe and blow pressure back towards the leak. Now you just want to add just enough pressure to get water and air or nitrogen to come out of the leak at the same time. By doing that, it creates a distinct sound that you're able to pick up with acoustic mics. And acoustic mics are basically elaborate stethoscopes. They filter out background noise and they hone in on just the leak sound alone. Once you locate the source of leak, then what we do is verify the location of the pipe by tracing the pipe out. If the sound of the leak and the pipe location match up, that's going to be the point where the leak is at.
So Pete, we discovered this leak because Pinellas County comes out once a year and inspects the leak meter that's on the fire line. They saw the little meter running. We checked our records. They checked the records from last year and found in this particular case we used a little shy of 400,000 gallons in a year. Now that sounds like a lot of water, but it's really not. So how do you, should you look at your water bill, or how do you initially find that you have a leak?
Well, that's typically with subsurface leaks, that's the first indication that you get. You get a high water bill, whether it's on your potable, fire system, or reclaim system.
Okay.
You typically notice a jump in the bill.
Right.
Sometimes it's just from consumption, and other times it's actually from the leak starting. The leak will start very small and slowly get larger. The more time that goes by, the larger the leak gets, and the larger the consumption of water, and it will be reflected in your water bill. With just that symptom alone, it's enough information for us to know whether or not you have a subsurface leak. Once we arrive on site to look at the property, first thing that we do is to make sure that nothing is actually being consumed at that time. And then we go through a process of isolation to isolate whether it's on a potable, irrigation, fire system, or even a pole. Once we've isolated the location of where that consumption and or leak may be, then we just focus in on that area to start our typical leak process.
So you run through the mechanical part of finding the leak, and then once you isolate which system it is, basically where you think the location might be, then you start your... Absolutely.
It's there with leak detection. One of the most important things to do up front is to actually try to isolate the source of the leak. If you do not attempt to isolate the source of the leak, you could spend countless hours searching for a leak and be nowhere near where the actual
So you would recommend before the homeowner or the condo association or the property manager call you to do their own little investigation to see if they could figure out where it might be?
Absolutely, Ken. Typically what I do with a lot of property managers and maintenance guys is I coach them through the process of trying to do the isolation.
Okay.
I ask them a number of questions to ask them how many systems they have, what does it supply, and do they have the capacity to turn off those different systems. Some guys are more knowledgeable about their systems than others, but typically the properties themselves can easily isolate where the leak is. It saves on the amount of money they have to pay for a company to come out and do the actual footwork for them, so it significantly reduces their leak detection bill.
Great.
Yep.
All right, Pete, we could talk about different water systems within buildings for hours and days, and also the methods and means that you have learned through the years of trying to find the leaks. But which systems are typically notorious for being more difficult to find leaks? Swimming pool, potable, reclaim, fire, whatever.
Well, Ken, the fire systems tend to be the most difficult.
Okay.
Fire systems are infinitely more complex than the potable or irrigation systems. In addition to that, when you're putting back pressure, when you're adding any kind of gas into the system, it's really important to isolate it from any kind of sprinklers that are on the backside of that system. So the process of isolating the leak, as well as preventing any kind of backflow of gas in through the system, can be pretty costly to get that set up. And even during the whole setup process, some leaks by their nature may not generate the sound using conventional methods. So it's a costly experiment to do to try to locate the leak.
Well, I'll give you an example here, and we'll just share that you came out to inspect this system. Our meter that's located on the front of the property on the line that the Pinellas County people found spinning is now stopped. No, we don't know why. So sediment could have been entered into the system and plugged a little leak. A lot of things can happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The older the system is, the more chances you have of the system actually plugging up and or causing any kind of valves to leak. If you have a bad backflow from the city, that can also cause the meter to oscillate, giving you the impression that you're actually consuming water when you're not.
And we have a system here, just to walk over here quickly. We've got check valves and different things on this system. And the story here today might be that one of these check valves cured itself or healed itself, right, mysteriously, and we don't know why?
Absolutely. As I said before, the older the plumbing gets, the more finicky it gets. It's kind of like an old car. You know, it may act up intermittently and solve the problem just through use.
Yeah.
There's really no rhyme or reason to why these things occur, but you know, it does happen.
So we do a little maintenance. We fix the check valves, and we're good to go for a while.
Yeah. If the check valves are the problem, then that's your problem solved. If the check valves are fixed and the leak starts to form again, then it means that the pipe was temporarily plugged from shutting the pressure on and off to the building.
So just turning on and off the valves could loosen enough sediment, change the water pressure enough to fill these little holes that sit there for, what, eons and years, just minding their own business.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Pete.
All right.